What is up, YouTube? I'm DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance Crew, and you're watching DaVinci Reacts. I got another movie trailer for you guys. Like I said in the previous trailer with the Wonder Woman, I have a bunch of trailers today, so I'm going to be spending a lot of time doing reactions to trailers, which means that I'm probably going to have to wait until tomorrow before I can get into the Carl Pilkington stuff. So for those of you that are looking for that, that'll be out sometime tomorrow, perhaps. It won't be today, let's put it that way. This is another movie that, well, ironically, Wonder Woman was called Wonder Woman 1984. Ghostbusters were a big franchise in the 80s. So in a way, this is 80s connection. I was never really a huge fan of Ghostbusters. Not that I didn't like it, but I never really watched it. Like, I never sat down and watched any of the movies. I'm familiar with them. I'm familiar with some of the key, the key things associated with the series. So I know about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I know about Slimer. I know about all the Ghostbusters. I know about the cartoon series. I know about some stuff in general, but I never actually sat down and watched the movies themselves. I do know that they had a recent Ghostbusters where they rebooted it with a female cast, and the thing I didn't like about that was, even in the trailers, it wasn't funny. Like, they were trying to do they were trying to go for comedy, and the comedy wasn't funny. But instead of going back to the drawing board and figuring, okay, what went wrong? What can we do to fix this for next time? They just blamed people on blamed it on stuff that was irrelevant. Like, oh well, people just didn't want to see females in the starring roles. And it's like, no, that's not the case. There are plenty of movies with female casts that are very successful. What made this movie not successful was that it wasn't funny. And they didn't have any of the old Ghostbusters come in. Well, they did, but they weren't reprising their roles. They were like cameos. And it was just it just didn't hit home with a lot of people that grew up with Ghostbusters. So there was a lot of people upset about that movie, and instead of, like I said, going back to the drawing board and figuring out what went wrong, they just placed the blame on something that wasn't necessarily the blame, and they're never going to make a good movie if they continue to do stupid stuff like that. But let's jump into this, see what it has to offer. I have no idea what this trailer is going to be about. I mean, as far as if it's going to be a continuation with the female cast, or if it's going to bring in new Ghostbusters or what, but whatever. It's called Ghostbusters Afterlife. Let's get it.
What are you doing here in Somerville anyway?
Honestly, my mom won't say it, but we're completely broke. And the only thing that's left in our name is this creepy old farmhouse our grandfather left us in the middle of nowhere. Why'd you bring me up here?
Entertainment value?
Oh.
What is that?
I don't know.
And that is when we leave.
Somehow, a
the
town that
uncle's
isn't anywhere near
farmhouse.
a tectonic plate, that has no fault lines, no fracking,
grandfather,
no
whoever the hell
loud
left it.
music even, is shaking
That
on
Paul
a daily
Rudd?
basis.
Under the dining table now!
Hey, remember that one summer we died under a table?
Okay.
I found this in my living room.
Whoa, killer replica.
A replica of what?
A ghost trap?
Okay, so this is taking place in a universe where people know about the Ghostbusters. Almost like it takes place in the real world, where Ghostbusters are entertainment property. It's possible maybe the Ghostbusters were just well known. Like I said, I never really saw the movies. I always assumed that the Ghostbusters were kind of like a niche group that kind of did their own thing and people didn't really know about them. But I'm guessing at some point they became world famous.
There hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years. New York in the 80s? It's like The Walking Dead. Your dad never mentioned this to you?
It's just my mom.
See, they're doing callbacks to the original.
My grandfather died. My mom says we're just here to pick through the rubble of his life.
Wait a minute.
I'm guessing he's related to one of the previous Ghostbusters.
Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Come on, darling.
It has a gunner seat?
Reminds me of Lost World Jurassic Park with the gunner seat. That was nice. Like they were shooting after Slimer at the end there. Let me see. Yeah, looks like that's it. Well, I mean, I like what they're doing so far. They're not leaning too heavy on comedy, which was kind of a problem with the last movie. I do believe that the original Ghostbusters, while it was funny and had comedy in it, it wasn't like the focal point of it. Like, there was some stuff in the first movie, or at least from like the pictures I've seen, there was some nightmare-inducing stuff in that first movie. Like, let's not even kid around. Even though it was a movie that was kind of, well, I can't say it was targeted towards kids. A lot of kids saw it. I believe it was targeted more towards like teenagers. But there was a lot of stuff in that movie that would cause people to have nightmares. Now, if there's a particular scene that you guys remember from the original movies, be sure to go in the comment section and let me know, because like I said, I haven't seen the movies, but I am familiar with some scenes from just like things that make reference to it. Like, I remember something about a ghost supposedly trying to rape one of them. And like, it gets dark. But if you guys happen to know anything from the Ghostbusters that I should know, if it was any type of cameos or references in this trailer that I might have missed, like the kid going into the closet and seeing the costumes, and there was like a name that was like flashed for just a second. I'm sure people that like really know about Ghostbusters probably like flipped the fuck out when they saw that. I'm pretty sure that was like a reference to something. Maybe even the guy before like that was in the little warehouse, the older dude with the white hair, he might have been somebody that was a key figure in the original Ghostbusters movie. So like I said, be sure to let me know what you guys can pick out from this trailer, and give me some context behind it so I can understand it. At some point I will watch the Ghostbusters movie, but you guys know I'm a person that doesn't really like to sit down and watch movies too much. I don't like sitting for that long and like just focusing on one thing. Nowadays, like whenever I'm doing something, I'm doing like 5 things at the same time. Like I'm on my phone, I'm on my computer, and I got my TV running in the background, listening to that while everything else is going on. So I don't want to sit here and pretend like I have attention deficit disorder, or, you know, do that self-diagnosis stuff that a lot of people like to do. I've never been diagnosed with it, but I don't like sitting down for too long watching movies and stuff like that. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. This is coming from somebody that's more of a Ghostbusters layman, so it probably wasn't as exciting as some people might want to see, like somebody that's a fan of Ghostbusters, see someone flip the hell out when they see the references. But I am somebody that's open to learning. So if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. I'm DaVinci. Hopefully you've just been a little more enlightened. I'm going to give you the deuces now. I'll see you guys in another trailer. Deuces.